Well, hello and welcome back. Today's guest is a week away from another huge brick in the foundation of building his boxing career. This young man is an undefeated prospect that's easy to root for, especially if you're a Las Vegan. He's a high school graduate of Bishop Gorman right here in Las Vegas. He's incredibly humble, especially if you consider he comes from the greatest bloodline ever. And greatest isn't hyperbole. Nico is the grandson of the international icon Muhammad Ali. And Nico is carving out his own career in boxing with a huge fight this Saturday at the MGM Grand Garden Arena versus Danny Rosenberger. So with that, let's welcome Nico Ali Walsh. What's going on, my man?
I'm just excited to be here, and I'm excited for the fight.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to have you on here.
Thank you, thank you.
First, I have to put this on here. You're the third Ali that I've had in this chair. Of course, I had your brother, Biagio, on here. And you're the third member of your family that I had sitting in this chair, Kalila.
No way,
really? I had her in this chair probably a year before COVID hit.
Wow, that is awesome. So yeah, it's a family thing.
Yeah, it's a family thing, man. Beautiful woman, man. She's great.
Thank you.
Your Nana?
My grandma.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys, my grandma's Nana, but your great grandma, I guess you
Yeah.
Right? Okay,
yeah, it's all the same.
I got you. So you're 8-0 as a prospect. What, 5 knockouts? Can you please explain to folks that really just don't know just how young in your boxing career that you are to be where you're at, to have this kind of opportunity to fight on ESPN, only having 8 professional fights?
Yeah, I mean, people who aren't boxing fans, they don't understand that it is amazing for me to be where I'm at. It's a huge honor. It's a blessing. People don't fight on ESPN until they're like well into their careers. You know, I haven't even been boxing pro for 2 years yet.
Yeah.
So this is pretty amazing. I'm just so excited, and I'm using all these opportunities I'm getting to my benefit.
Absolutely. And the fact that you're fighting here in Las Vegas, you've had one fight in Las Vegas, right, of the 8 that you've had.
Yes.
And this one, how cool is to actually fight in Las Vegas, your hometown, on a card like this with Loma and Haney?
It's amazing. Well, first off, this fight, if I wasn't fighting on this card, I would be tuned into this fight like crazy. This has got to be one of the biggest fights in boxing.
Absolutely.
Devin Haney versus Lomachenko. So the fact that I'm on that card is crazy.
Yeah.
But just to top it off, the fact that it's in Vegas, it can't be better than that.
Man, the fight capital of the world. Like when you dreamed of boxing, when you started, you said back in high school.
Yeah.
Like, man, fighting in the fight capital world. Like, we see it differently like people do, but folks that go to boxing events, you go to a ton of boxing events, like going to an actual boxing event here in Las Vegas is bigger than, to me, anywhere else in the world.
It is, and like you said, it's the fight capital of the world, not just the country. Like, I mean, people, I know from boxing, people from Russia, people from Bulgaria, people from Saudi Arabia that are coming all around the world to Vegas to train, to fight. So it's a huge honor. I'm just glad that it's my backyard, it's my hometown, and I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. So I wonder about this. Like, how pressurized is it fighting with the last name Ali? Like, being that everyone knows that your grandfather, you call him Poppy or Papa?
I call him Poppy.
Poppy, that's your Poppy is Muhammad Ali. Like, how is it fighting?
I mean, fighting is one thing, but I really don't even see it. The pressure is just being who I am. I've felt it since I was a little kid, like to be on my best behavior when I'm going out, you know, not to act a fool, as my mom would put it, or just just be on my best behavior. So I feel the pressure of being an Ali everywhere I go, but boxing, it's like maybe a little bit more pressure, but I'm used to it. Like, I was born into this, so it's nothing special.
I got you. And pressure makes diamonds.
That's right. And pressure's a privilege.
No, it really is. And that's interesting that you say that you've always had that kind of pressure, but being in the sport, like for instance, your brother is in a different sport in a sense.
Right.
But being in boxing, where, I mean, you've got aunts and everything else that have been boxers. I mean, do people expect something from you?
Yeah, no, I mean, immediately they compare me to my grandfather, and the way people see it is like, are you tired of these comparisons? Are you sick of people comparing you
to the greatest person ever?
I mean, am I going to be upset with that? They're trying to compare me to my favorite boxer, the greatest boxer ever in history. Yeah. I'm not upset with it. You know, there is no comparison. No one will ever be like him, but the fact that people are trying, I mean, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I get that. So, like, when you watch like old maybe interviews that your Poppy had, you ever think about maybe trying to take some of his vernacular and
Oh man, no, I'd get in trouble saying some of the stuff that he was saying back then. He's funny. I mean, the biggest thing about him is that he spoke his mind. That's the kind of person I already am. I will speak my mind, and he would never be swayed into being the fake kind of celebrity or person that people try to, morph themselves to be nowadays. So just be yourself. That's the kind of guy that I am, and I hope I continue being like that.
Okay, I got that. And I wonder about this. A few questions. These are questions I'm just thinking of off the top of my head, though.
Yeah.
But do you ever please don't tell me you get tired of talking about, people want to talk about your grandfather. I mean, everybody that you meet, I'm sure, wants to talk about your grandfather.
Of course, yeah. I mean, it's like, it's hard, I haven't met someone yet who didn't really know who he was. So
in your life,
yeah,
that's crazy.
So, but the good thing is every time someone mentions his name, there's a smile on their face. Yes. They're laughing. They're telling some sort of great story. So sure, it could get like annoying at points, but it makes them happy to tell me these stories. It's stories that every story is different. Everyone's got a story. Everyone's got a story of him. So it's I'm not upset with it.
Okay.
I'm not upset.
So with that being said, the stories. And I asked your brother this, who was sitting in this chair. What's a fond memory that you have of him that you can remember? Because he told me that you guys just always spend holidays with him and whatnot. What's the fond memory that you think of? Like, you know what? That's one of my go-tos when I talk about like me spending time with my poppy.
The first one that comes to mind, because we're on the subject of boxing, is I would always show him my sparring clips. So he never saw me in person fight, but I would show him all the clips of me training and fighting, and we had some good times just watching them and me seeing his reactions on how I'm doing. And he just, when I wanted to quit boxing, he made me stay, basically. So I wouldn't be here without him for sure.
Okay, in a whole bunch of different scenarios, you wouldn't be here without.
That's right.
Okay, what was one of the reasons he told you, like, hey, why did you want to not box?
It was tough. I mean, I knew before I had my first amateur fight, I knew that the road ahead was tough. I already saw it in the gym that people were trying to knock me out. People showed up as, Floyd Mayweather when they came to spar me. Every sparring match is a fight. Yeah. Everyone's trying to knock me out. And I knew that was a tough road. I was only 15 at the time. And I said to him, I was like, is this something I should do? You think I should stop? Like, I was trying to lure him into saying you should stop. Yeah. And he just wouldn't say it. He said, I think you should continue, and I think you should keep going down this path. And I was like, man. But he gave me the okay, so I said I had to. Yeah,
I mean, and here you are. You know what I mean? Here
you are. I'm glad. Thank God.
No, absolutely. And this is another one I have to ask. Your brother gave a great answer to this, but I wonder what yours might be. What's one of the craziest reactions or stories that you've heard about, like maybe you're out with him? Because I would assume that people go bananas, like in person.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And I can say your brother told me that he'd be out at like a restaurant or something, people would just clap.
Like, oh, yeah.
It was just bananas to me, but like, what's something?
Yeah. The craziest experience I remember just off the top of my head is when we were in the MGM, which is where I'm fighting. We were in the MGM, and he was staying upstairs at the time, so we went downstairs, and I was still like, I didn't know how many people knew him. I didn't know about that lifestyle. Yeah. So I was just hanging out with my grandfather, and everyone started huddling around him because we were getting ready to go through the casino, and we had to speed through the casino because everyone immediately noticed him. Oh, wow. And when they notice him, it's not like normal paparazzi where they want photos and stuff. Everyone starts smiling and clapping, and it was crazy. Wild. It was so weird to see. It's like something from a movie.
Yeah, no, that would be wild. Because did you also go to high school with Snoop Dogg's son?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cordell, yeah.
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 So, I mean, like, that's a different, because you've obviously been around his father or whatever, right?
Yeah,
so,
of course.
And he's famous.
He's a great guy.
Yeah. But it's a different kind of fame, though, right?
It is. It's so weird because Flavor Flav, who is
super famous
as well, the closest man to family without being blood related.
That's cool.
We're with him all the time, and when people see him, it's the same sort of, laughing, that kind of thing, but it's different. For my grandfather, it's like people cried. Like grown men would cry when they saw him.
That's wild.
And I was like, I didn't understand it at the age when I was looking at it, but yeah, he had fame on a different level. He had fame on the level where it reached into like respect or something like that.
Yeah, he almost had like it's almost hard to say it, but he almost had like a religious experience type of fame in a way, which is kind of,
No, it was very weird. I mean, it's humbling to see that, but yeah, I mean, you would see old people crying. I'd be like, why are they getting so emotional? But it's because he, stood for something so great, and
he touched people in such a
it's an honor for me to be able to see it.
And to go full circle, because you have fans now. Like
it's crazy that the people that were true fans of my grandfather are now fans of me. So I've got people watching my fights that aren't fans of boxing, and they're watching my fights because they love my grandfather. I would do the same. So it's amazing that I get to carry on that torch. I get to, some of these people, I get messages all the time saying that they felt emotional watching me fight because when I'm fighting, I do bring my grandfather with me to the ring. I'm the only Ali in boxing now. So people still get emotional, and it's just humbling for me to see because it comes from a place of love and respect,
Absolutely. And how motivational is that for you when you're training?
It's crazy. It's crazy motivating. I don't fight with, Mike Tyson, who's a close family friend. He fought, a lot of the time you saw how ferocious he was. Yeah. He fought with a lot of anger at times, and it worked for him. But, my grandfather was different. He fought with love. Like, it was so weird, someone that could be fighting, someone who could be knocking people out is fighting with love.
And joy, like he was happy.
Yeah, it's weird, but I feel like that's kind of where I'm at this stage in my career.
And how often do you kind of explain to people that don't necessarily know the boxing game that, like you said, it worked for Mike Tyson, but in general for most fighters, like folks don't know that boxing is such a cerebral sport. Like
95% mental.
Yeah, that that you have to. The smartest boxer is the best boxer. You can't be upset. You're thinking about, oh man, thinking about shots to throw and how to set up stuff and what he might be throwing. Like how I guess difficult it is to explain that to people that don't necessarily know that, man, boxing is not an angry sport.
It's tough. I mean, if you ask anyone about how mental is boxing, everyone will say, oh, it's like 95% mental, but it might even be like 99% mental. Seriously. You do the thinking when you're training. When you're hitting the heavy bag, when you're watching film, that's when you're doing the thinking.
Yeah.
When you're fighting, when you're actually fighting, you're not doing, all the thought is gone. The training's already done. It's more like you're honing into what your body already knows. Which it's still sort of mental, It's not a physical sport really as much as it is a mental sport.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think people that are kind of not necessarily boxing, like folks, don't necessarily really believe that. They think it's brutal and people are mad or that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, for anyone who thinks that it's just for people who are like angry, it seems like it. But take someone who's angry and take someone who's poised, have them fight or have them box, and we'll see who wins. I guarantee the guy who's angry will not win.
No. Will he last more than 2 minutes?
He might not last more than 2 seconds, depending on how angry he is.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. So we're getting back to ESPN Saturday, MGM Grand Garden Arena. You're going to have, I guess, since you haven't had a fight here in a little while, just like the amount of people and fans, like how is it fighting in your hometown in that respect that, folks want tickets or just, so many people that actually live here?
Oh, it's amazing. The overwhelming support I get, you don't even have to watch the fight. You don't even have to support the fight. Just the fact that, sending a text, the text that I'm getting, I feel the love.
Okay.
I mean, showing up, it's a big fight, so the tickets are expensive. Showing up is not important to me. That's not important to me. Watching it is important, just supporting in any sort of way, and I feel that support. I feel it. It's like it's been over a year since I fought here, and it feels like I'm 2 or 3 times as much more people are tuning into this one.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. And really, 2 more questions. One, your brother, Biagio, is an MMA fighter.
Yeah.
So it's not boxing, it's not, it's MMA. How proud are you of him and just what he's accomplished, man. Because I mean, first fight he got the L,
Yep.
but he's come back and he's been put on a big stage as well. He just had a fight that was on national television as well.
Yeah, no, I'm super proud. It's sometimes you look at losses in people's career. He's still an amateur.
Yeah.
So my first amateur fight was a loss.
Okay.
And it's a tough pill to swallow, but if I hadn't had that loss, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. So sometimes those losses create legends, and I've seen that with like Mayweather. He lost in the Olympics. And he was just devastated. He was crying, and then since then he hasn't lost. So that's how a lot of people were, and it's great. I feel like that's all part of our story.
Gotcha. And for people who have seen some of the highlights in the back that you peeked at and that have been on television and whatnot, if you explain to them what type of boxer you are, like for instance, I see you got a good left hand. Like your left hook's like a nice little, you got a nice left hook. Are you you like to use your left, or obviously you're an orthodox fighter,
right?
Power guy, or not a power guy, more technical, or?
I mean, everyone says I'm a power guy because most of my fights have been knockouts, but I try not to rely on power. I try to rely on thought, like we were thinking before. I try to be smarter because the smarter guy will always beat the tougher guy.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was a left hook, that shot right there.
Yeah, that's a beautiful shot.
I mean, that's a hidden art in boxing. That was a body shot.
Yeah,
body shot. People don't throw body shots like that anymore, at my level at least. So, I'm just trying to grow with boxing.
Well, I think that Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis know a little something about left hooks to the body.
Let me tell you something. If you get hit to the body, people don't understand. I mean, as an audience member, you can say whatever you want, but
yes,
I mean, you've trained.
I've been hit.
So it's not fun, and your body does not respond well, no matter how tough your mind is.
Yeah, and folks, if you box, you feel body shots more than you feel head shots. At least I do.
Yeah, no, I'd rather get hit in the head 10 times than get hit with one hard body shot. I promise you.
Yeah, people have
It's tough. It's tough. I mean, people have a hard time understanding. It's like, when you see those guys getting tased, your body freezes.
Yeah.
That's what it's like getting hit with those body shots.
That's a good description. I mean, steal that from you.
Steal it. It's true. It's true.
No, this is true. This is true. All right, so Nico Ali Walsh, May 20th.
Yes.
One last chance to tell anyone that's watching out here, Las Vegas, why they should tune in. I mean, it's free. It's free.
It's on ESPN.
Yeah.
Go to a bar, a salon, a restaurant, anywhere. It'll be on the TV.
Yeah.
It'll be on the TV. ESPN. You got to tune in, because if you don't tune in, you'll see the highlights, and then you'll say, I wish I saw that live.
Absolutely.
You can watch it live. ESPN.
And this is the start of a beautiful career. Nico Ali Walsh.
Thank you.
The bloodline from the greatest, Muhammad Ali.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you.
Of course. Thank you for having me.